Hi, welcome to my YouTube channel. You're visiting me on True Divine 44. You can also catch me on my Facebook page, True Divine, and you can reach me at The True Divine on Instagram and Twitter. Any likes, shares, subscribes, follows, comments, greatly appreciated, and much love to everybody who does that thus far, especially those that have been there from the start. I appreciate you all very much. So, let's go. This is part of the free content that I put out. It's the daily energy reading. It's where I pick up on the energies of the day. I work with energy anyway. I work with tarot, so I combine the two to bring you a narrative that will forearm you, forewarn you, give you foresight, or help you look back on the day that you've had, to make sense of the energies either within you or the energies you encountered in other people, or just the environmental energies that you came across on that day. So this is for July the 4th, 2020. And to the American friends, family, brothers, sisters that I have, happy July 4th. I hope you can have fun and you can appreciate the day with family and friends that you can truly connect with and smile with. So this is the first card, being the Air Princess. So the Air Princess is asking us to be dexterous of mind, to be ready to learn, ready to explore, have that childlike nature, that childlike excitement to delve into new things, to expand the knowledge, to expand and explore whatever it is that makes you feel blissful. This is clarified with the Nine of Cups. So whatever makes you feel that inner bliss, that excitement, that drive, or that breakthrough moment where you have something click in the mind and it makes sense to you, or you feel like you've gone up a level in knowledge, something that can take you forward, something that you can then go on to be creative with. So to be childlike in these energies right now is difficult. Of course it is. And it might be that connecting with a child in your family today, obviously it being a family day for many of you, connecting with the children, childlike energies in your family today, could be very important to help you release the nonsense, the very real nonsense, but nonsense nonetheless, that is going on around us all right now, where we're being torn in all different directions, pulled and prodded and attempted to be triggered at everywhere we go. It's like, triggers going off everywhere. So focusing on that childlike energy, either within yourself. If you can't reach it yourself, look at the children that you have around you. Look at how they move. Look at how they create in the space, because they are oblivious, hopefully, to a lot of what is going on right now. So it means that you can see that actually, is it real? Does it have to be real to me today? It's not real to this child. This child hasn't stopped playing. This child hasn't stopped creating. This child hasn't stopped talking about the things that it loves to talk about and loves to do. Get into that space. In that space, you can find your bliss. In that space, you can find yourself. And often in that space, when you can release the anxiety of the negativity that's going on around you, that is the space that actually that click point comes in, where you start to make sense of something that was niggling at you, something that you needed to transmute the energy of, to think of it, to flip the script in a different way. This card also speaks to being ready to act, ready to roll. Don't think too much about what fun you can have today. Just roll with it like a child would. A child can make fun playing with the energy around them in their imagination. They don't even need a toy. They can just pretend that it's there and it's real in that moment. Find your reality in your blissful moments, even if it is just in your imagination. Imagination is where creation starts. Real things are created through imagination. So if you can get to your blissful moment today through imagination, awesome. You're doing a lot better than most. So the second card, it also speaks to being teachable, being open to new knowledge, being open to new perspectives. This princess, the energy of this card, is actually doesn't get triggered by other points of view. She doesn't get upset by it. She gets intrigued by it. She wants to know, even if she really, really disagrees with the point of view that's being shared. She wants to delve into the psychology behind that point of view. How did that person get to think that the way they thought, the way they're thinking right now? How did they get to be feeling the way that they're feeling right now? Is there any truth in this? Let's research this, instead of being triggered. It speaks to finding your twin. So even if that's your twin in yourself, it's a Gemini card. It's the thinking card. It's the dexterous, mental dexterity card. Even if that's being your own best friend right now, giving yourself a good talking to today, to draw yourself back into your immediate self and your immediate circle, and not paying any mind today to what's going on around you today. The second card, I say all of that with the first two cards in particular because the second card is the death card. But I clarified this, and usually you would see that this is the ending of old cycles in your life and on the collective stage. And it is. But it's an ending of a cycle that is being fought at every corner. People are fighting for their corner to win. People are fighting for their voice to be heard. People are fighting for their opinion to be the winning opinion. And it speaks to today of what hill is your ego telling you to die on? What is so worth it right now, and what will it really change on the collective stage and in your individual life if you decide to die on this hill? Because it's clarified by the Five of Swords. Now, the Five of Swords, everybody's weary, everybody's tired. And yes, there might be some small victory from one side or the other, but everybody's bloody. And it is a small victory. It's a passing, fleeting, insignificant victory. And usually, in my experience, the victor that is in this card regrets being the victor because they've let go, they've died on a hill that made them lose the things in their life that really were good. You know, yes, there might be disagreements on things, yes, there might be upsets on things, but in general, they were good things, good relationships, good, genuine friendships. But the drive of the ego to win at all costs. This card is asking you to question, at what cost do you let your ego drive you into an isolated place? If you look at this card, the victor is prominent in the forefront here, and the other people that have been on the battlefield have turned their backs on them. The other people are very much more wounded. And this victor, yes, he has some of the swords, but the rest of the swords are on the ground. It hasn't even collected the dividends that the ego promised you that it would. So it's very fleeting. It's a very small victory. It's not worth it. It's not worth it when taking the death card in its ultimate energy today, allowing egos that drive you in a way that isn't fruitful, isn't fulfilling, and isn't made of expansion and growth and ascension, then if you were to take it as that, then it's a huge day for you. It's a huge release for you. Immediately, if you can pinpoint the things that you're being triggered upon, if you can pinpoint those things and delve deep again, the inner work, go right into your roots, the roots of this tree, and find out where that parasite got in. Where did that ego slip in whatever area that it is? Where did that get such a hold that it would make you cost you things that were worthwhile keeping, or that even on the other aspect of this card weren't even worthwhile fighting, because they naturally would have come to an end anyway with the end of this cycle. So question yourself today if you find yourself slipping into ego, if you find yourself trying to hold on to leaves that need to be shed, holding on to opinions and ways of thinking and ways of being that you're ready to naturally shed if you can strip yourself from that ego regarding whatever aspect that is of you that is wanting to grow, that's wanting to expand. The ego is a tricky thing, and the ego is being really used in a magnificent way right now through mainstream media, through the powers that be, and through those in our individual life who wish to stunt our growth and keep us the way that they like us to be for their gain, forgetting that their gain is so small because they're not even getting the whole of you or the expansiveness of you, or they're not even being able to focus on their own path because they're too busy trying to win and trying to keep you in a place. They're trying to hold roots that are breaking through concrete. And so the stripping of the ego is very difficult. And as I was saying before, there's this huge effort right now with the collective stage, the powers that be, and then us even turning our egos on each other. That's this 5 of Swords, turning our egos on each other instead of having this open, dexterous mind in this air princess, getting all serious about shit and forgetting that this life path, it's a game. It's a serious game, it's a fun game, it's a loving game, but it's a game. And you have to find your way to navigate your way through it and experience the greatest growth and the greatest love, the greatest experience that you possibly can, that is aligned to your path, to the contract you made to yourself. But instead of being dexterous and childlike and ready to explore, even if you don't agree, or just move on to something that is agreeable to you, it gets all serious, winning at all costs. And that is really being played on and projected and overplayed, so that people with ego and people that are unwilling to shed that ego, to shed those old leaves, are being really triggered today, which in turn triggers more people, because then they get defensive and the battlefield just gets bloody, and there's only a very small, insignificant win, if that. And so it's very important for us to be checking ourselves to, does this reality that we're living in right now match with our true self, or are we doing this, are we staying in this reality that we're in right now out of ego? Are we clinging on to leaves that are ready to be shed, that are ready to go, ready to make room for new buds, new growth, new experience, new people, new places? Keep asking yourself today, if you feel yourself slipping into ego, one, do the inner work, yes, to figure out where that ego got in and transmute that energy, turn it into something that isn't damaging to you but more uplifting and freeing to you. But two, keep asking yourself the question, is this the hill I want to die on? The collective stage is doing what it's doing. And unfortunately or fortunately, we've got to experience that, depending on what you take from it, what you transmute from it, how you react to it. Whether you react all serious and take the game too seriously, or whether you get dexterous of mind and flow with it and move with it and feel it out and explore it. So, what was I saying there? The collective stage is going to be rolling out some bumpy ground, because the powers that be are doing the very thing out of ego. to think that they have to stay in control the way they've been staying in control. They have to be allowed to abuse the way they've been allowed to abuse. They have to have the same amount of power the way they've allowed themselves to have the same amount of power. So they're clinging on to ego and projecting that, and as above, so below. Don't give them what they want. You strip yourself of that ego. You be childlike in your exploration, because there's not one person of us that can go out there right now and change the way things are rolling out completely. But what we can do is make a very strong statement in not joining in, not giving them that, not allowing them to put this ego food, shove it down our throats and us just gobble it all up and say, thank you, can I have some more? Can I please have another hill to die on? Can I please get fat enough in ego so that I just have to roll down that damn hill? Right into another battle, right into another conflict. So be very, very wary of clinging on to old cycles that you know deep down that it's been niggling at you, that you need to end, or old egos that are holding you back or stopping you from being the explorer, the experiencer on this life path. The third card being the Devil card, so another major arcana, and so and it's clarified by another major arcana, which is the Chariot. So we've got the devil chaining us up with our ego, and this really does speak of everything that I've just said about the collective stage and as above, so below. The devil that we know is feeding. It's like a machine right now. It's like bump, bump, bump with that ego fast food coming off the conveyor belt, just hoping that mouths are open like little dicky birds, waiting for the next feed. Gluttonous little dicky birds. Keep it going, keep it going. Come on, they're getting riled up. They're going right into our trap. Look, the chains are binding them more and more and more. They can't even see the wood for the trees now. They don't even know how to move forward now with this Chariot card. They're all out of sync. They don't know which is the yin and which is the yang. They'll die on any hill now. Keep feeding them, keep feeding them, keep feeding them. The most powerful thing we can do today is to break those chains that bind us to ego, to addictions, to being addicted to our ego and our ego food that's being fed to us by the mainstream media, by social media. We're even doing the job for them by feeding each other ego food. Oh, you're on my side, yes, pat on the back for that. Let's attack that side. It's ridiculous. So the best thing we can do to break these chains that are wrapping around us at the moment, for those who choose to have them wrapped around them, the best thing we can do is to move forward is, yes, the inner work, to have ourselves in sync and in balance, our divine feminine and our divine masculine in the exalted positions within us, able to use both sides and both attributes of both, able to move forward and know which direction we're moving in, regardless of what claptrap is going on around us. We are pointing in the direction we want to move in, how we want our lives to look, how we want our reality to look, and everything around us can just be around us because we're focused, we're going forward. Now, once you make that decision to strip yourself of the ego and to break those chains and to stop focusing on that, like, it looks like a mouth to me today, and it hasn't before, but this part of the card looks like a mouth to me today, just like, feed me. There's a movie, and I can't remember the title of it, but it's got a big... I wish my memory was better. It's got a big Venus flytrap, and the plant gets magically huge, and it says, feed me now. That's the vision I've got going on in my head right now. It's like, feed me now. And they keep feeding it, and then it gets bigger and bigger. And I can't remember even what happens at the end of that movie. But right now, it feels like if the movie was getting written by me right now, the thing would start just eating the people who've been feeding it, eating themselves up. I don't remember the end of the movie, so I can't say that. But I had the initial thought of that. There's a movie somewhere named something that is a big Venus flytrap, and it keeps saying the words feed me now, and snapping its jaws. That's what's happening. But it's your choice whether to be fed or not. Whether you can go forward with grace, direction, intent, and poise. And it is going to be difficult because everything in us is going to want to look that way or look that way, to hear what that noise is that's being made on this side, or what that noise is that's being made on that side. And yes, while it's important again to stay aware and alert as to what's going on, it is very important that we don't open our mouths and eat it up as a reality. Let's go back to the start of the reading where we have that childlike energy in watching a child play. The child, is this real, or is this their magic? Everything being created, and then we're finishing off the job and making it very real, yes, and there's very real people getting very, very really hurt. But initially, if you look at a child playing, on the same day that you're maybe distracted by ego and wanting that conflict to fight it all out and choose a side, is it really real? If we were all in our masses to decide to just take no note, to just get on with our lives, open a business again, follow our pleasures, follow our desires, how much control would they have then? And how real is it really? If a child can be in the same environment, the same energy fields, and still have imaginary play, and still smile at seemingly nothing, and still laugh at seemingly nothing, and still get excited when you engage with the child to learn something new and explore something new, how real does this conflict have to be? Because you see, if we were all doing this and not this, then we can, from a much safer space, watch the collective stage, the powers that be, roll out whatever claptrap they want to roll out. And they'll get so desperate that they'll get even more loose-lipped, they'll get even more ridiculous, and the lies will be seen, the truth will be seen. But we have to detach from it and stop feeding that ego, and stop accepting the egoic food that they're giving us through media, and even the egoic food that they're giving us through our friends and family, that have bought into the rubbish. And is that then, saying that, let me bake you a cake full of ego, come eat, let's be on this side and we'll attack that side. Again, ridiculous. So that is the 4th of July 2020. On the bottom of the deck, we've got the 7 of Swords. Hijacking, theft, betrayal. If you're feeling this in your individual life, then you maybe didn't get the memo to start aligning yourself with people around you that you feel aligned with, that you feel whole with, that make you feel blissful, that you can trust. Not only with your physical things, but even with your thoughts, even with your mental health. Because this is betrayal, this is theft. Look, he's making off with all of those swords that represent our mind. On the collective stage, this is happening. There's hijacking happening of your mind, of your mental state. Don't let that happen. Don't give them another sword. On the bottom of the other deck, we have the lovely Fire Prince. The prince that goes forward. Again, mutable, moving, flowing, just like the air prince, fire and air. Get yourself fired up with whatever makes you passionate and blissful today. The air will blow this flame. The air will make this flame bigger, stronger. It'll help you see the direction you want to go in. This fire prince isn't afraid to change his direction. He's not full of ego. He's happy to change things up as the event calls for it, or as the time in his life calls for it. He lights up his way. He's passionate. He's driven. It speaks to travel, moving around, moving away, new home. Again, I know astrologically people are warning to not travel, particularly internationally, to not do big moves like moving the home and things like that for now. And I stand by that because there's some astrologers that I listen to and they haven't steered me wrong and are so accurate, and I appreciate the craft so much. But with this Chariot card, you can still be making that preparation. You can still be planning it. You can still be making that intent. You can still be making that movement forward, even if it's not the physical moving. It is the planning and the intent behind it. So when the time is right, when it is there's more freedom to move around in a more safe way, in a more assured way, then you're ready to go. Oh, there you go, straight to point B, because you've been planning point A all the way through. So that is the reading for July the 4th. I hope you have a lovely day. I hope you can enjoy it and be blissful and be happy and have much laughter. It's a big day, so I spent a little bit longer for a lot of the people that listen to me. So I hope you don't mind indulging me by listening. If you would like a private reading, you can get in touch with any of the details below. And of course, until next time, be balanced and be whole always. I love you.